right. Take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Michelle Sanders, the current Women in Technology Club president. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the Grow Your Career Through Your WinTech membership presentation. Today, myself and the vice president, Katrina Jenkins, will be talking about the different ways that being a member of the club helps students get jobs and work towards their career goals. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and open up PowerPoint. All right. Vitrina, can you verify that you can see that?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to go to the next slide. So we're going to specifically be looking at certain activities that are conducted within the club, specifically our career showcase series, our LinkedIn networking, the hackathons and competitions that we participate in, and how it all ties together. Then we're going to provide some more information about the B4 Women in Tech grant program that's sponsored by the Reboot Representation Coalition, and how it helps our members gain the skills that they need to start and grow their careers. So to begin, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Microsoft Teams site and point out 3 of the channels that we have in there. So if you're a current member, these are the 3 that you need to be looking at when you're thinking about networking and applying for jobs. All right. So if you see our team screen, you can see all our channels here on the left-hand side. And the first one that I'm clicked in here is our LinkedIn channel. If you didn't know it, we have a LinkedIn connections repository where all of our members, going back to when the club started back in 2019, have shared an introduction and their LinkedIn URLs. So this is always the first step when you become a member. Go to that LinkedIn repository, get those connections. And it goes on and on and on. Pretty easy to do. When I did this, when I joined in 2022, I got about 300 connections right off the bat. So it's a very, very good resource when you're networking. The next channel I wanted to look at is the Career Path Know-How. So if you are a recent member or you're thinking about joining, we have a section here that's all about introducing our members to different types of careers. And we do this by hosting a career showcase series where we interview people who are working in different positions at different types of technology companies. We do videos for the panel discussions, interviews, and what we do, if you go up to the top, is we save it here under the Files tab, and it has an Excel repository that has all of our past recordings. And you'll see when we go a little bit farther on that's going to be very important. Well, it's not loading for me right now, but that's usually where it is. So make sure you check that out. And then the last one I wanted to show you here is the Hackathons and Competitions channel. Now, the club does host its own hackathon and competition, but we also post ones from various organizations and various companies out there. So it's also another very good resource because these hackathons and competitions, you're going to work with other club members, people that have other connections. So, well, looks like Teams is lagging behind. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our PowerPoint and go to the next slide. So we can look at it a little bit more in this flowchart format. So, as I was saying, the first step is to really get into LinkedIn. I know many people, myself included, especially career switchers, it might not be involved so much in social media or online networking, but just know that LinkedIn is not social media. This is a professional networking site with 500 million members, and it's also a learning platform which is supported by WGU. And it is one of the very first things when you start your degree program that WGU encourages you to get started with when you begin your program. It's even part of the graduate program's capstone. You have to have a LinkedIn created with a resume posted. So once you do get that LinkedIn, you're going to connect with all the other WinTech members by using that repository that I just showed in the MS Teams. Now, once you have that, then you're going to check out the Career Showcase. Now, these are people who are working in the field. They're being interviewed by us, and they often share their LinkedIn with us, not just as the employee where they're currently working, but also from previous companies they've worked at as well. They have those connections still. So you create your LinkedIn profile, you get those 300 plus connections of WinTech members. Then you go to the Career Showcase repository, watch those interviews, get those LinkedIn connections, make sure you're following and connecting with the companies that you're interested in. And that leads to the hackathons and competitions. A lot of tech companies are putting on competitions specifically for students that are still working on their degree programs. And when you join a competition, they often host a networking and recruiting event where you get to talk to the recruiters and connect with them. And I'll be honest with you, when I've gone to some of these, it is so much more powerful when you can tell them, like, oh, I saw the interview with so and so, and that's when I learned about your company, which led me to this competition. And then you connect with them on LinkedIn. So it's like this big circle of networking and connections that being a WinTech member really encourages you and helps you to do. And that's going to help you get the job when you're ready. So I suggest step 1, create a LinkedIn. Step 2, look at our repositories. Make sure you're connecting with everyone and anyone. Then look at the companies you're interested in. See if they have a hackathon or a competition going on, and make sure you have those connections as well. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Katrina. She is going to be discussing the other opportunities with the B4 Women in Tech grants through Reboot Representation. So I'll go ahead and go to your slide, Katrina, if you're ready.
I am. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate you being here. My name is Katrina Jenkins. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Reboot Representation first. Reboot Representation is a wonderful organization. They offer a lot of resources. They offer just so much. If you look at the slides, you'll see that they have a mentoring program. And what this program does, it matches BLNA, Black, Latina, Native American, Indigenous tech professionals to Reboot scholars. Why is that important? It's important because sometimes you need to connect with someone that can help to guide you. And if someone has similar views or similar experiences, they can navigate you through certain pathways. They also have webinar series where you can connect with recruiters, professionals, and professionals about various opportunities like internships, full-time roles, apprenticeships, and etc. They have conferences where you can network with others throughout the year at various events. The conferences are usually pretty cool, and it will vary. Sometimes they will be sponsored by Reboot Representation. Other times they will be other organizations that are looking for um, either talent or looking to help people build their skill set. So it's very important to keep your mind open in terms of where you get your training from. Um, some of these meetups will actually help you with your soft skills. It will put you in touch with people that have been where you want to go, so they will be able to help guide you. They also offer resources that connects members to other organizations that may assist you with your growth and learning opportunities. There are a lot of organizations that are out there for women in tech, not just WinTech, but also folks that are focused on coding or folks that are focused on cybersecurity. So as you navigate this path, try to keep an open mind about where you want to go. And if you have like a specific view, that's fine as well, but you never know where this path will take you. So don't rule out all of the opportunities that may land on your lap. You never know. Next slide, please. Now, about the B4 Women in Tech grant. The WGU B4 Building Bridges and Breaking Barriers Women in Tech Persistence and Possibility Grant is available to new, readmitted, and current students. The program will help to put an IT degree within reach of underserved Black, Latina, and Native American Indigenous women. I'm sorry, there's a question. I'm an IT PM. Would it be a good idea for me to join, or is this more for developers? Do you mean WinTech or Reboot Representation? Both. Join both. Yes. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it yesterday. I don't want you to think that WinTech and WinTech or Reboot Representation is just for like a specific kind of tech. When I tell you there are women that are in there that are doing phenomenal things. You have some that are in cybersecurity. You have some that are in coding. You have some that are project managers. By all means, join. And at the very least, you'll have put in time, you'll have gained resources, and you'll have a clear idea of whether or not it is or isn't for you. So I would definitely say join. Take a look around, take what you can use, share what you think would help with someone else's journey, and go from there. You got this. You're so welcome. Okay. But by all means, don't feel as if you can't join something and that you're not sure about what to do. All of this information is available on our team site for both Reboot Representation and B4 Women in Tech grants. So please stop by there, give it a good going over, and join. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. Oh, also, before I forget, I almost forgot, we are going to have a seminar on July the 6th at 4 p.m. by Ashley Duggar called Breaking Through Imposter Syndrome. So if this is something that you wrestle with from time to time, please do not hesitate to show up, network, and learn. We're all in this together and we can help each other move forward. Thank you guys.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up if there's any more questions. You can type it in the chat or you can go ahead and come off mute. And I'm going to post some of those links I was mentioning earlier while you do that.
Okay, there's a question in the chat that says, I sent a request to join. Are there specific requirements to be accepted?
No, there are no specific requirements as long as you are a current former student at WGU. Okay. Yep. So I know I had a question here said to please post the WinTech MS Team site or a link to join. Once you join, you do get that link through email. Or there is a link that Peggy just put on there about the membership. I also posted a link for a LinkedIn webinar. It's a very good presentation that they're doing through Handshake on how to set that up and how to use it as a networking tool. Oh, you're welcome, Mona Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us today. I do see a question from Farisa. I'm a IT project manager. Would be a good idea for me to join. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am also IT and project management. I think that was answered as well by Katrina. No, there's a good question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How has serving as a leader in WinTech helped you with your career? It has, for me personally, has definitely given me a lot of experience in leadership. So I get to host these events and talk to large groups of people, which is something I didn't really get a lot of chances to do in my current role. So it's helping me get that experience and that level of growth. And I've also been able to network with others in the club and participate in some of those competitions I was talking about. And even just the most recent, I did an information session with an employer. And I looked on my LinkedIn and I found that I had a mutual connection with one of the recruiters. So I sent a connection request and I got it just like that because they could see who you're connected with. And it's just so much more powerful when you have real people that are connected to real people. So I think that's the biggest thing, at least with my career. What about you, Katrina?
For me, I think the biggest takeaway has been getting out of my comfort zone. At one point, I was a social butterfly and flitting around and doing all this stuff. And then, like after COVID, I just kind of like withdrew a bit and just started focusing on random things. So, being an officer in this club has actually helped me to get back into my normal self. I love people. I love helping people. Um, and I want to see everybody genuinely succeed because there's really room for all of us here. A lot of times, we get so wrapped up in day-to-day life that we forget to have that community. And for me, this has helped me to prioritize what's really important, not just making a living and succeeding in my career, but also building something that will last long after I'm gone.
Absolutely.
So this has been something that's been near and dear to my heart, and I look forward to doing great things. And I look forward to seeing all of you doing great things as well.
Yeah, and I think that leads into Kristen's question that she has here. What has been your favorite WinTech event that you've participated in? And I was thinking that my favorite one was the Grace Hopper Memorial Panel discussion, where there were about 10 different panelists, and they were all women in technology and talking about their pathways to their careers and, the obstacle they faced. That's just something that does stick with you.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, I think it's been several of the interviews, as well as that one. There's just something powerful about hearing other women's stories and seeing the strength that's exhibited, the balance, and the fact that all of us are just finding our way through. And it's a beautiful thing when, you know, we reach out to help one another to move forward. So I'd have to say I really enjoyed that one. The one that we had with Reboot Representation was amazing. I love that one. Michelle, did you want to take this one?
Okay. Peggy asks, I've heard WinTech has an accountability group. What is that about? So, yeah, the accountability group is for students to keep track of their goals and make sure they're accomplishing, first of all, their goals with their coursework. You definitely want to be on track and hold yourself accountable to that. So it's a group of women who actually log. We're actually using Trello now. If anyone's used Trello, it's kind of like a Kanban board setup where we put in everything we want to accomplish in the week or two before our next meeting, and it moves across the board. We have a section where to do, and you have a date, and you have it assigned to whether it's schoolwork, whether it's career oriented, whether it's some other event in your life, and you move it over to each section as you complete it. So you have it to do, then doing, and then eventually done. And so you can see your progress at the end in that done section get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, when you really see it and you get to discuss any blockers, things that might preventing you from achieving one of those goals, you have that group of people to talk to about it and discuss solutions to it. So it's really interesting, and I have loved being a part of that group as well. It has definitely been paramount in me finishing up my degree program for sure. Well, thank you, Colleen and Kristen. Yeah, if you've been looking for a community to join, this is definitely the one. Absolutely. Now, if you need assistance with joining, any of us are here. You have myself, Katrina, and Peggy, and Dana. We're all here to assist you. You can definitely contact us through the website or through email. And Peggy just posted her email down at the bottom in the chat. You're able to get that. All right, this is a really good question from Chelsea. Have any of you transitioned into tech from a different career? If so, how was that? And is there any insight you can give? Yeah, there are so many people who have transitioned into tech from different careers in this club. I myself am a former elementary school teacher, so it was definitely a journey for me to figure out what area of tech I wanted to kind of specialize in. And it took me up until about the end of my degree program right now to finally get there. But the biggest insight I can give if you are a career switcher like myself is to join, whether it's WinTech, whether it's Reboot, join a group of people because there are going to be other people in there going through it with you, and you want to have that support because it is hard. Nothing that's worth it is easy. It's definitely going to take a lot of work, but it can be done. And I honestly can say that joining WinTech, I don't think I would have done as much or even completed my degree without the people here, hands down. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them.
For me, I had always done clerical work, and I just realized that I wanted more. So I started at WGU. I was torn between cybersecurity and programming. Um, and I just started leaning into the cybersecurity. Is it hard? That depends on who you are, what your mindset is, what your study habits are, and how you learn. For me, there were certain aspects that were like a piece of cake. There were other aspects where it was like a snail going uphill in the middle of January covered in molasses. It took forever to finish some things. But I think the important thing to take away is you can see someone else's journey and you can allow that to inspire you, but don't let that stop you because what's hard for me may not be hard for you at all. So as long as you put the time in and you realize, hey, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do, then you can get it done. I see another question. I don't mean to skip anyone. What's the verification that the request to join went through? I believe you'll get an email and you'll be able to go in. Um, the next question, were you always interested in tech? If so, why? No. Yes and no. I'm a gamer. I love video games. So from that aspect of tech, I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of dig this. This is cool. But what really kind of got my wheels turning was the different applications of tech. I'm an amputee. I had my amputation at the age of 6. It was a decision that I had made. My parents sat me down and talked to me about it and wanted to make sure that I knew what I was choosing, and I did. Um, my mom would always ask if I have any regrets for deciding to do that. I do not, because it's helped me to be a better person. It's helped to give me like different insights on different things. It's taught me patience and understanding. So for me, I think the aha tech moment was when I got a prosthesis that actually had Bluetooth. And I was like, hold up, how does this work? Wait a minute, can it be hacked? And all of these different questions just started rolling in. Um, so it was from that point that I saw that tech had like a lot of different applications in so many different ways. Tech is amazing. So that's kind of why I landed here. What about you, Michelle?
Yeah. Well, during COVID, I definitely was determined to transition out of teaching. It just wasn't what I was passionate about. So I was kind of up in the air about what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to go into tech, but I had no idea what area to go in. And I ended up getting a part-time job as a self-driving shuttle attendant. So I'm not sure if anyone works with autonomous or self-driving vehicles here, but it was definitely an eye-opener of the possibilities for me. And that actually encouraged me to go back to school for an IT degree. And I actually ended up choosing project management as my specialty because of that. Just because I feel like what I want to do is bring something from beginning to end and assist those that are in the heart of it, you know, rather than being an end user of the technology. I want to help bring that technology to others. So that was my journey to where I'm at now in tech. I do see from Chelsea, currently a nurse trying to figure it out. We have a lot of people transition from that field as well that are in the club. Okay, what is the best way to stay informed about WinTech events? Handshake, Microsoft Teams through the WG student groups. Okay, well, all the events will be posted on the website. Sometimes they are through Handshake, sometimes they're through another method. They are also emailed. Once you're a member, it'll be sent directly to your email with updated event lists that's going on throughout the year. And of course, it'll be posted in Microsoft Teams in our general channel. Yep, I agree. Microsoft Teams is the best way to stay in touch. That's usually where the very first notification is. Will there be a recording? Yes, there is a recording. Thank you for asking. And once it's out, it'll be posted in that repository that we have on Teams as well as the website. Oh, Amanda, tell her thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a future woman in tech right there.
And tell her we think she's beautiful too.
I have another question from Colleen. When did you realize this was the career path that best fit you? You want to go first, Katrina, or you want me to take it?
Honestly, at first I had questions. I was like, is this the best thing for me? Because I'm always asking like a million questions. Um, but I realized that the more narrower that your scope becomes sometimes, the harder it will be for you to see yourself in a position. Um, One of the things that helped to open my eyes by participating in WinTech and by participating in different things given by Reboot, I went from saying this tiny thought, this little idea of it has to be a specific type of way, into realizing, hey, wait a minute, the possibilities are endless. So if I had any advice, it would be Just don't think that you're going to be pigeonholed into one thing because you never know where your path may lead. You could end up working for a huge tech company. You may be working for a small mom and dad shop, or you may create your own entity altogether. So for me, I think inside of the last 6 months or so, I've really been feeling like, okay, yeah, this fits. It's a good fit. But don't think that, you have to be a certain way in order to be in tech. I am a giant goofball. I can be really serious, but I can also be a nut. So the best thing that for me is to go into it just being myself and being authentic. And I don't know any other way to be. Um, and I think that helps you to carve out where you want to be and where you don't. You don't want to be in a culture where you're just stomped repeatedly. If there's no growth for you and it just literally starts to suck at your soul, that's not where you want to be. That doesn't mean, though, that you're on the wrong career path. It just means that that specific place is not for you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you just said, Katrina. You definitely don't want to try and make yourself fit something because you do never know what's going to come up. Right. Teresa says tech is always changing, including techniques in project management such as Agile versus the SAF Agile. What are some great and low cost ways to stay up on trends in tech work? So, I don't know how long you've been a student, but there are several online learning tools that WGU fully supports with its students. Like I love LinkedIn Learning. I can just type in what, subject I'm looking for and put on, a LinkedIn Learning webinar right there on my phone app. They also use Udemy, Pluralsight, W3 Schools. Just look up to see what resources they have because a lot of them are free for WGU students. You don't have to pay for it. And that's always great in my book, especially when trying to pay for tuition and everything else that comes with life. Thank you, Kristen, for posting a link for some professional development resources. Yep, so they're free. You have to use your WGU Office 365 account to sign in. Good question. Right, so Temperance, you can join the club through the website. Let me go ahead and post that link. So that's the link I just put on there. It should take you to the Women and Tech Club website. And there, if you go to the left, you will see a tab for membership. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and post my LinkedIn on here so we can all connect. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me through that as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michelle and Katrina, for joining us tonight and sharing all this great information. I'll be sending out a link to the recording tomorrow, along with some of the links that were shared here in the chat tonight, so that we have kind of that listing of all of the resources. And then, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of the members here. I know Michelle put her LinkedIn in the chat. Peggy put her email in the chat. So feel free and reach out. And again, thank you all for joining. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Kristen, and thank you everyone for being here.
Bye. Thank you, guys.